Destiny 2 is already a subscription game, and if you have a pair of eyeballs, you already know that to be true. Last month during December, it was leaked by data miners that they had discovered plans for a subscription service in Destiny 2, primarily beginning with Lightfall. This idea angered a lot of Destiny players, rightfully so. Although there were still some people out there defending the idea because, of course there was. Destiny 2 is already one of the most heavily monetized games in the industry, despite being a free-to-play game, which we all know really means free to try. It's basically a demo. Destiny 2 expansions remain a premium purchase, and on top of that, there's annual passes, season passes, dungeon keys, anniversary packs, the Forsaken pack, the Eververse cash shop full of armor and ornaments, as well as transmog materials. And more recently, we've seen holiday event passes. Bungie has been pushing the limit each year with their monetization practices and continues to raise the prices. So the idea that Bungie would be adding another layer of monetization with a subscription model wasn't completely inconceivable. This seemed like the next evolution for Bungie. However, this leak was revealed just a few days later to have been fake, and was the work of some trolls trying to upset the community. Now, what surprises me about this whole situation is how many people there were saying that they would up and quit the game if Bungie implemented a subscription service to the game. But like I said, it's already a subscription game. We could go back further, but let's just go back to Beyond Light's year. $70 for the Beyond Light Deluxe Edition, which included the expansion and 4 seasons that followed, and a separate $25 purchase was required for the 30th anniversary pack, which totals to $95 for Beyond Light's year of content, which dividing by 12 months will get you the subscription cost of $7.92 per month. So about $8 a month, which could get you a subscription to, I guess, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, or I guess now Twitter. Just because Bungie doesn't charge you monthly doesn't mean that you can't break it down to the cost that it is to play this game's content by the month. So $8 a month for Beyond Light's year, and applying that same math to the Witch Queen year, it's $6.67 because there wasn't some anniversary pack, so of course it was a bit cheaper. However, Lightfall's year is looking to be $8.33, since it's $100 for the year of content that we know of so far. Who knows if there's any more surprises. Now, whether you believe that's a fair price to pay is totally up to you, but trying to make the case that Destiny 2 isn't already a monthly subscription is a hard case to make. Just like Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus, paying monthly or all at once for the year doesn't mean it's not a subscription. However, with Xbox Live and PS Plus, you do save quite a bit of money when you buy it yearly rather than monthly. Whereas with Destiny 2, you're saving only $10 or so if you get the deluxe editions. Now, most of the player base that buys these deluxe editions are no stranger to spending even more money at Eververse, dropping $15 at a time for armor sets, or even emotes or ornaments, all ranging roughly $8 to $10. Which leads me to the conclusion that even if Bungie did implement another subscription model on top of their already current monetization model, I don't think players would up and quit the game like so many of them claim they would do. Because throughout the history of this game, especially since 2020, we've seen players continue to stick with this game despite Bungie continually making decisions that are unfriendly to the consumer. From content vaulting to sunsetting, transmog being monetized, $15 armor glows, dungeon keys, event battle passes, the player base may complain a bit at first, but ultimately, most of them will continue to play the game and either ignore the problems or just give in to the monetization so they don't miss out on getting all the items. Now, if a subscription model were added, it would likely lead to a few players dropping off, just like some players did actually drop off because of the aforementioned monetization practices. But realistically, the dedicated fans of this game would have no problem just giving in and letting it slide, as well as most modern day gamers who are just used to this kind of thing, who grew up in this era and don't realize that games don't have to be like this. If there's anything we've learned from Bungie over these last few years, it's that they will always find a way to monetize anything and everything if they can. Even the quality of life stuff like transmog, which is of course free in many other games. Looking back at discussions even during Destiny 1, one creator in particular pointed out and predicted the path Bungie would go down and the precedent they would set for the future of the gaming industry.
And what everyone needs to understand going forward is that if Destiny pulls this off, if they generate significantly more revenue off of an intentionally watered down product, then other games will follow suit, and watered down, stripped bare, oversimplified games are going to become the standard, if they haven't already. And just as we've seen every game copy COD's annual strategy and import all the same problems COD has because of that strategy, so too will we see every game adopt the Destiny tactic of stripping a game to its bare minimum in order to ship more and more DLC for extra profit. If Destiny pulls off this heist with no tangible PR backlash, it will set a precedent. Destiny will continue to employ this strategy, and other games will follow suit just to compete. If Destiny succeeds in this, we are looking at a future where you, the consumer, are spending more and more money for less and less content.
Now, regardless of how you feel about B. Dobbins, he was 100% correct about Bungie and where the industry was heading. We can see exactly how the Destiny franchise has already successfully set this precedent, which is why we've seen virtually all franchises over the last few years continue to provide less and less content for the same price, if not even more. Call of Duty, for example, has less maps, modes, features, and overall content than they did during what would be considered the golden age of COD. Yet they have infinitely more cosmetics, camos, charms, and skins than ever before because Halo Infinite shipped with maybe a fifth of the amount of content that Halo Reach did, despite being developed in 6 years, where Reach was developed in a fraction of that time. A progression system that was terrible for the player, but was great for Microsoft because it was designed with money in mind. And going back to Bungie themselves, we see that each expansion released has far less content than previous expansions, because they found a way to mass produce easy, low quality content and skip out on developing content that requires more effort and creativity and they've successfully convinced thousands of players that this is all a good thing, and they've cultivated a fan base that jumps to the defense of Bungie at every single turn to defend these scummy business practices that are designed to exploit them and siphon as much money from them as possible. And you know, it's genius actually, in an evil genius kind of way. Bungie and their head designers are smart, the same way the creators of some of these mobile games are smart. But they aren't focused on making a quality product. They are focused on making as much money as possible while also spending as little as possible.
The easiest way to turn a profit is no longer to boost revenue, but to cut costs. And in fact, even before the struggles of growth caps due to limited market availability, cutting costs was always an efficient and easy way to boost profits. And of course, to further reduce costs, you can find clever ways to release new content that isn't in fact very new at all, such as that PlayStation exclusive strike, which takes place entirely on a map that's already been built for the most part. And of course, a game itself where a majority of the actual playtime is spent replaying the same content over and over again, but with minor modifications. Like, if you look at all of Destiny's PvE gameplay, they probably have like 10 hours max of content on that game. But through a very clever progression system, they're able to drag that out for a ridiculous amount of time. And that's a clever way to make money while cutting costs. And of course, the more they can recycle content already developed, the less content they have to actually build, the more time they will have to ensure the little content they do have to build launches smoothly while retaining the bare minimum amount of staff.
Cutting costs is exactly the type of way Bungie has increased their profits, most notably in way of reusing so many assets. For example, a lot of the seasonal content revolves around visiting old areas or revisiting very familiar territory, which allows them to reuse vaulted assets. The storylines revolve around the same storylines that keep randomly coming back up into relevance, not because they were inspired to create yet another Rasputin Warmind themed release, but because that was an easy and cheap option with a bunch of assets and foundational story elements that already existed. They've cut costs by replacing expensive voice actors for cheaper ones. They've also cut costs by bringing forward old Destiny 1 weapons and armor models, strikes, raids, destinations, as it eliminates one element of the designing process. They have a template of what to design. It's not the same amount of time that it would take to make a completely brand new space. No, I won't totally ignore all the good content in Destiny 2 because beneath all the low effort drivel, there is some great stuff, namely the raids and the dungeons. Now some players are willing to sift through the sewers of this to get to the occasional peak, but eventually it gets exhausting. People often wonder why I bother criticizing Bungie and the gaming industry today as a whole, and it's for one simple reason. You should critique the media that you love, because when you stop demanding as the paying customer, then companies can continue to take advantage of you and deliver a bad product. Another recent example of this is the Pokemon Company, which is the highest grossing media franchise in existence, bigger than even Disney. For them to put out a product like Scarlet and Violet is unacceptable. And whether you like the game or not, you should not settle for the bare minimum. You deserve better than this for your $60. You are the consumer. You are in control. Whether a company survives rests on your shoulders. Demand more from them because as the paying customer, you are entitled to a good product. I've never understood that mindset that so many people have fallen into lately. Those that spew the idea that gamers are entitled, as if that's a negative. Like, yes, it's my money. Damn right I'm entitled to a product that should live up to the dollar amount that I'm spending. You know who is not entitled? The company that wants my money. They have to earn it. Yet somehow this idea has become twisted over the years to be the other way around. But that's all I've got for this video. Like if you agree, dislike it if you don't. Subscribe for more content just like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.